Hello everyone. This is part 5 of the discussion. We were discussing 2025 English literature optional paper. So paper 1 we were discussing. We have already discussed question number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 of section A, and today we are going to discuss section B, question number 6. Okay, section B, question number 6. So the first question is, how does Swift use satire in Gulliver's Travels to critique his contemporary society? Explain with textual references. Okay, so whether it is mentioned or not, you have to answer with the references from the text. Okay, so this is the notes which I have prepared. The link of the PDF will be provided in the Telegram channel. The Telegram channel's link has been provided in the description box, so you can have the PDF of this notes. This is basically an explanation, a detailed explanation of the question and what all things need to be answered in the question. This is not an answer, this is just the explained or a comprehensive explanation of the answer. You have to read and reread so that you understand what the question was asking, and then you have to answer it in your own language, because the word limit is far less than it is mentioned here. So you have to read and understand of what are the things which are to be answered, and what are things you can carry in your mind, so that the words you can memorize the words or some terminologies or some phrases and sentences or some examples, and finally you have to write answer on your in your own sentence with your own understanding. So this is just an explanation which I'll be providing you. I have already provided the questions analysis of the previous questions from 1 to 5. Okay, so starting with question number 6. So the question was of how he critiques the European society. So Swift's Gulliver's Travels utilizes the ironic travel narrative and exaggerated fantastical settings also to launch a devastating satire of his contemporary 18th century European society. We know that, and exposing the political corruption and the petty conflicts and moral feelings also of the society. Swift employs allegory in Lilliput. We understand that, to mock the absurdity and factionalism of English politics. So, for example, there is the conflict between in the Lilliput. There is conflict between which end of an egg to crack. The parodies the destructive and trivial dispute between Catholics and Protestants. So while the practice of candidates securing high office by performing on a straight rope, it symbolizes manipulative and acrobatic political maneuvering and favoritism required to gain the power in the British court. And the next voyage is of Brobdingnagian king, where the king condemns European people, describing its inhabitants as uh, odious vermin, and that nature ever suffered to crawl upon the surface of the earth. So it serves as Swift's direct and moral critique of European pride, warfare, and complex, corrupt institutions, voiced by the figure of simple, rational wisdom. So further, the island of Laputa, so it satirizes the royal society and impractical um, intellectualism of the Enlightenment through the academicians of Lagado, because the academicians of Lagado were pursuing useless projects like extracting sunbeams out of cucumbers. So, a critique of science detached from common sense and human need was basically symbolized there. Also, the final voyage, the final voyage. The final voyage of Gulliver, the Yahoos in his last voyage represents humanity, because humanity was stripped of all reason and civility, driven by filth and greed and vice, which is contrasted with the pure rational Houyhnhnms, Houyhnhnms were basically the horses. So Gulliver's ultimate revulsion with mankind upon his returning home is also preferring the company of the stable horses provides the novel's climatic, like climactic and darkest satirical commentary on the innate corruption and irrationality of human nature itself. Okay, so the next question, if we discuss, is how does Jane Austen uses irony as a narrative technique in Pride and Prejudice to reveal the characters? So this is also a recurrent question. It has just been reframed, and it has been asked in the previous year how the ironic statements are revealing the characters or concealing something else. So how does Jane Austen use irony as narrative technique in Pride and Prejudice to reveal characters? Okay, so here is the explanation or the detailed answer which I have prepared. I have also tried to include some of the quotations, and the understanding is far we can say a far more comprehensive and elaborate understanding of the question, so that you can read it and you can understand it in a cohesive manner. You can always read and concise it according to your own needs. Okay, so Jane Austen uses irony as a primary narrative technique in Pride and Prejudice to expose and critique her characters, particularly the societal pretensions and self-deception. Okay, so novel often uses verbal irony also and dramatic irony also. The novel opens with the most famous lines. It is mentioned the most famous lines are it is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in a want of a wife. Okay, so this statement, while it's seemingly a universal truth, it is actually Austen's ironic commentary, and immediately revealing that the materialistic motivations of surrounding society, especially the women or the mothers like Mrs. Bennet, for whom the truth is like a single woman is in the want of a good fortune, uh, and is hunting for or for looking for a husband. So this setup reveals Mrs. Bennet's entire character as driven by an obsession with securing her daughter's financial futures. Another example is the revelation of Mr. Darcy's character through dramatic irony, like where when he first insults Elizabeth at Meryton Ball, the reader, also who is seeing Mr. Darcy with Elizabeth's perspective. So initially sees him as a merely proud and arrogant person, but however, this is through his letter, the truth of Wickham's villainy and Jane's reserved demeanor is revealed. So completely it overturns Elizabeth's as well as the reader's perception. So this technique not only shows Elizabeth's judgmental prejudice, but also subtly reveals Darcy's deep and awkwardly expressed integrity and genuine affection towards his social pride. So Austen uses this sustained irony to guide the reader into a deeper understanding, peeling back the layers of superficial social conduct to expose a genuine moral and emotional substance beneath. Okay, so this is the complete understanding of the question. Try to concise it and use it accordingly. Moving on to the next question. Substantiate your understanding of Tom Jones as a Bildungsroman and a picaresque novel. So, I have discussed the meaning of these words, picaresque novel and Bildungsroman, in the previous videos. I'll be providing the link of the words which have been used in the questions, and so that it may not create a difficulty in the coming papers, and you solve the questions easily, I'll provide the link through which you can understand all the words which have been used in the questions and the words which are important for you to understand. Okay, so this is the detailed answer, or we can say detailed understanding. Okay, so the question was, substantiate your understanding of Tom Jones as a Bildungsroman or a picaresque novel. So it is straightforward question. Understanding of Tom Jones as a Bildungsroman and also as a picaresque novel. So see, first, okay, Tom Jones, a foundling, is both a Bildungsroman and a highly evolved example of picaresque novel also. See, Tom Jones chronicles the moral and social education of its protagonist, so fitting the definition of Bildungsroman. So Tom begins the novel as a good-natured but imprudent youth, driven by natural instincts and animal spirits rather than sound judgment. So his journey represents the process of maturation from youthful folly to mature wisdom, culminating his integration into society through marriage and the revelation of his true parentage. Also, the novel explicitly structured to show this development. The later events in London, where Tom is tricked, arrested, and nearly ruined, it serves as his crucial moral education. When he shows genuine repentance of his relationship with Lady Bellaston, the narrator emphasizes the internal change. When he says he was not little pleased to have his virtue put to the proof. So, his eventual union with the virtuous Sophia Western symbolizes the completion of his moral journey, where his innate good heart is finally combined with the necessary prudence and experience he gained through suffering. Also, the novel aligns with the picarist tradition also by featuring a roguish but appealing hero, Tom Jones, who is of low social class and lives by his wits and good nature. The plot is structured as a linear series of episodic adventures, particularly during his road journey from uh, Somersetshire to London after his unjust banishment, which provides a panoramic and satirical view of the 18th century English society. Also, the journey is a quintessential picaresque element because Tom's encounters at the inns, like the famous one, the Up- Upton Inn, I suppose. Okay, are loosely connected episodes where he meets the vast array of social types like he meets parsons, he meets soldiers, and people of varying morals also. So it allows Fielding to satirize the hypocrisy and corruption of the era also, contrasting the rural gentry and metropolitan elite. So unlike the classical picaresque novels, however, Tom is ultimately revealed to be of noble birth, and the plot is highly unified and organic also. So it modifies the typical loose structure of the genre. So you can just combine both the ideas of Bildungsroman and picaresque novel, or you can state it separately also. It is according to your will, but you have to answer that it is a Bildungsroman also and a picaresque novel also. Okay, so this is it for this video, and I'll be providing its PDF in the Telegram channel. Try to answer the questions. Try to read it first. Read this PDF and understand what the question is demanding, and try to answer the questions. And you can post the answers in my email. I have provided the email ID. You can post your answers, so that I can evaluate it, and you can have a better understanding, or you can basically correct your answers. Okay, this is it for the video. Thank you.